So guys, such a lovely audience. Leah, let's introduce yourselves because I think that it's nice to put a name to the face before we start talking about all these important issues.
Fair enough.
Rafał, start with you.
We don't start with the ladies, right?
No, it's equal opportunities, so you go first.
Fair enough. Okay, name is Rafał Budweil. I have the pleasure and honor of heading a company called Triggo S.A. We are a Polish company. We developed a vehicle that combines the traffic advantages of a motorcycle with comfort and safety of a car. In other words, we have a small car that filters to traffic jams and can park nearly everywhere. If you want to know more, check up our webpage. You will find all the information.
Okay, Janusz, you go second.
My name is Janusz Samuła. I'm working with Office of Technical Inspection. It is such kind of organization which take care of safety and lately also security of technical equipment. Our everyday task is to check the safety, to make periodic inspections which are made every year, every second year for pressure equipment and also what kind of equipment you use almost every day, the lifts and many more, like cranes. So it is our responsibility, that's why we are generally interested in safety.
Good afternoon, my name is Marek Gawroński. I'm representing Volvo Group companies here in Poland. Volvo Group is the company who is delivering sustainable transport solutions and vehicles. We produce trucks, buses, construction equipment and industrial engines.
So hi everyone, my name is Gigi Etienne. I head mobility partnerships at What Three Words. In a nutshell, What Three Words is a simpler way to talk about addresses. And what we did is we divided the world into a grid of 3 by 3 meter squares, and we've given each square a unique combination of 3 words, so you can talk about anywhere in the world using only 3 words.
Thank you, guys. So let's talk infrastructure now. We all know or read about the future of mobility, but we have to get there first, and for that we need infrastructure. I'll start with Janusz because the regulation is key in this process, right? Without regulation, we will not have
further movements.
Exactly. And you already you are responsible, or your institution is responsible for charges. So how do we get from there?
So I have many problems with the safety of autonomous vehicles because preparing for today's meeting, I had a chance to view some conference which was made by Elon Musk and his team, and it was said there that algorithms which decide about driving are updated on the basis of the data flowing from the fleet. So it means that today I don't know whether the car will be safety tomorrow. And in technical, there are 2 aspects, legal side and technical side. Legal side means that we must match the traffic code to the new situation. Because we have users which are autonomous vehicles, we have standard vehicles, we have connected vehicles, so different actors are on the scene, and we must match the traffic code. The question is, for example, when something goes wrong, there is a crash or there is an offense of traffic rules, who will be responsible for that? The owner of the car, in my opinion, manufacturer. And we must look at the system. It should work in that way that manufacturer who invents this algorithm is responsible. It seems to me that the assessment of such autonomous vehicle is very difficult because we do not know the software code. We do not know all the algorithms which will be used with the time and in the future. So how to write the standard, technical standard. So
and just to draw a picture for our audience, you probably heard about the trade dispute between America and China and how Google said that it will not grant permit to use its software by Huawei. So let's imagine there's a car running on say, Google software by a Chinese manufacturer, and then Google says, I'm not going to give you updates to you know, applications that contain safety, and the maps are not updated anymore. It's a whole new field of problems.
So it may lead to catastrophe, but
Exactly.
I think that it will be know-how of the company. I doubt whether Tesla will disclose their code to other manufacturers. So it is the question. And of course, when we at UDT, at Office of Technical Inspection, when we perform our inspection, we check all functionality. But how to check functionality of the object who will learn through neural networks and who will have this functionality tomorrow?
Marek, you work in a company that's basically a maverick of all kinds of solutions that we know from science fiction movies, autonomous trucks, driverless diggers, etc., etc. How close are they to the market, and how soon are we gonna see them driving in the streets?
Well, it takes some time to see them driving on the streets, that's for sure. But already today, we can see our trucks, our buses, our construction machines fully autonomous. Volvo, at Volvo, we see different mega trends in automotive industry. The first one is electromobility, automation, so autonomous vehicles, and then connectivity. So when it comes to automation and autonomous vehicles, Volvo has been carrying out research into the autonomous vehicles for several years. So we built several examples of vehicles which are fully autonomous. Already in 2016, we produced the first electric and autonomous truck, which has been used for transporting limestone in open mine. Then next year, we produced wheel loaders, also used in mines. Then 2018 and 2019, fully electric and fully autonomous bus, which has been built based on the commercial bus, in fact, constructed, designed, and produced in our factory in Wrocław, here in Poland. So for sure today we can test already autonomous vehicles in confined, restricted areas like ports, hubs, logistics centers, mines.
So basically safe environments.
Safe environment. And for sure automation gives real-life benefits like productivity, efficiency, better proficiency, for sure safety, and then fuel economy.
Okay, and to move these autonomous vehicles, you have to communicate someone with the machines, because there's no driver anymore. You cannot tell him where to go. So you have a company that basically came up with a solution, very simple solution, how to communicate with a robo-taxi and say, okay, I'm going there.
Yeah, so when you think about autonomous vehicles in the future, if you think about it, you're in an autonomous car and then you're like, oh, actually this is not where I'm supposed to be dropped off. Like the car, you know, the address was wrong or whatever, which happens all the time in a normal taxi, as you all know. You can't go and say, oh, actually, can you drop me off at the other side of the road where I can see the Starbucks? Because that's obviously not going to work. There's no driver in the car. So addresses that we're using today are the addresses that we invented 300, 400 years ago for a completely different purpose. So we need to apply a new addressing system that works for the digital world and for the autonomous cars. So what 3 words in this instance? You can already say 3 words in cars. So in a Mercedes, in a Ford, you can say, hey, navigate to what 3 words? Apple, banana, spoon. And then the car will know exactly where that location is, as precisely as 3 meter squares, but also as simple as just saying 3 words. So when we think about autonomous cars, I think that's going to be a crucial component of how do we actually get to the right location and communicate with the machine the precise address in what 3 words.
And how is it to implement this concept? Because it sounds very easy. You just divide the world into squares and then name every one of them, and then you have to talk to the companies and actually convince them
Yeah.
to adopt it?
So there's two sides to that question. So the first is, I think the implementation from the company, say Mercedes, Ford, Uber, etc., all of the companies in mobility that would integrate what three words, they would take the technology and integrate the technology. It's actually quite simple. So when we talk to developers, it's a very simple integration that they do. So it really doesn't take them very long. And then there's the other side of things, which is more the consumer integration or adoption, rather. And so that's also very simple. Everyone here can download the What Three Words app, find their home address, find their business address, find their friend's house address, and then say that in a Mercedes, say that in a Ford, and then navigate using a three-word address. So those two things need to happen. But I think I believe that as we move towards a more autonomous and more mobility-focused world, that's going to have to happen.
It's incredible because your idea is so cool, but I can imagine some conversations that are quite funny actually, because you have these three words for every location, so it sounds a bit like a movie about the French resistance, you know, in the Second World War. Get me to flamingo pink elephant. But it's really actually cool that every location in the world can be summed up to just three unique words.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you're right. There's also the cool aspect of it, right? So people will go on the app and be like, oh yeah, my three words are pink flamingo house, whatever it is. So there's that sort of modern innovation side of things that people really get into, and then it's about using it on a day-to-day basis in mobility as well.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea to pick your destination for holiday. Like pick three random words.
Exactly. Or to remember where you went on holiday. So
Yeah.
I was in Cuba recently, and I went to an amazing place, snorkeling. How do I know how to go back next time I go? So the only way I know how to go back is because I took the three-word address of the exact location, and then I know the three words are where I'm going to go back when I go to Cuba.
Don't tell us, because everyone will go there. Rafał, you have the concept of an electric car. It will have a driver, right?
Yeah.
But it's already a transition away from traditional cars because it will change shape, and also it's electric. So for that you need infrastructure. What kind of things you need to develop so these cars are actually adopted by the public?
Well, the true answer to that is that actually we need, and we developed Triggo with the idea in mind that we need as little infrastructure as we might possibly need. However, indeed, Triggo is, you can't buy it. We developed the vehicle with car sharing, that's our stage one, and the future robotaxi services in mind. So rather than going for the 19th century type of concept of owning things, it's my car, I need to own it, we go for the 21st century concept of sharing economy because of various things. In our case, there is an obvious financial motivation behind it. It's simply easier to develop a car that will be shared by 10 people rather than trying to sell it to 10 people at the regular price. What is interesting is that we do see a lot of economical value in autonomical transport, but not probably the way you think. The autonomy being made. What we believe in strongly is robotaxi. Mm-hmm. Is the concept that combines the basic car sharing, which is an application in your mobile phone, with the car's ability to be delivered automatically to the place where it is needed. If you do the financial exercise about it, you will see that it's an absolutely amazing business model. It so happens that Triggo is very well prepared to be autonomized by the fact that we do already deploy drive-by-wire, so it's fully digitally controlled, and the prototypes that we operate on the streets of Warsaw and Łomianki, next to Warsaw, they actually are already controlled by a set of computers. Now, we are trying to be very realistic about the implementation of our concept. That's why we decided for two things. First of all, autonomous driving, yes, absolutely, but no driver inside it. which means that we are going to be rebalancing the fleet based on the future demand, for example, demand for the next day, when we can predict that the vehicles are needed. But we do it initially overnight, as I said, no human driver inside it, slow speed.
Okay, so during the day, there will be a regular vehicle with a driver inside, but during the night, they will find their home base.
The ultimate aim that we have in mind is obviously to being able to order it like you order a taxi or an Uber. But we need to start with something, and our initial idea is that we will simply rebalance the fleet of car sharing the vehicles, and that will already have significant impact on the financial performance of the operator. Next stage being you being able to order it to the place where it's needed, and then you drive it yourself with quite a lot of pleasure. Second thing, when it comes to infrastructure that we have decided is that we know how much it costs to develop the charging infrastructure in the city, how much of a time-consuming exercise it is. That's why we have replaceable batteries, just like in a car, in a bicycle.
Replaceable battery, okay.
Replaceable batteries, yes.
But then you need infrastructure to charge the batteries in bulk.
Yes, but you need literally one or a couple of spots in the city where you charge them in bulk, and a couple of vans with people who replace them.
Okay, or robovans.
Or in the future, robovans.
Yeah. So guys, last round, because we have literally 2 minutes. When do you think you'll see first autonomous vehicles, 3 gentlemen, in the streets of Warsaw and Gigi in London? Well, let's start from you. When do you expect the first autonomous vehicle driving in the streets of London?
That's a tricky question. I'm not sure I'm confident enough to say a date in particular, but I would definitely expect in the next 5 to 10 years we'll definitely see at least some testing, at least some brave people out there trying to use it already. And I think it's going to depend a lot on sort of when the companies have reached a level of safety that they can actually put it on the roads. And so that keeps changing, and it depends from company to company. So we'll see. But I'm definitely one of the first ones that would like to see them in London. London has a difficult regulation for mobility. Like, there's more and more happening, but it takes time. So I think it will depend. But hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years, I would expect.
Yeah, I think you pointed out a very important thing, that safety is probably the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
If you remember,
rightly so.
Yeah,
rightly
if you remember trains, the first inventor, I think, was killed by a train, by a locomotive. So today it would be not possible for the technology to develop. Like, okay, I'm an inventor of an autonomous car and I'm killed by it, and then let's do it anyway. I think today we have much less actually room for mistakes like that. We have to be absolutely spot on to move on, right?
Yeah, I think automation will be introduced gradually. Today we have already in our vehicles different driver support systems. All we know, and it really helps, and it improves our safety on roads. So I think in Kraków or in Warszawa, in my opinion, the first autonomous vehicles we could see like also 10 years, 2030, 2032.
Okay.
That's our estimation.
I agree with 10 years, but when we are talking about safety, I would like to remind that Tesla produced the car when using autopilot. They claim that one crash happens after driving 3.5 million miles, where the standard is one crash by 400,000 miles. Okay. So it is already progress.
How many years?
3 years.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for listening patiently to us, and have a great conference.